It is now 7 p.m. Welcome to Monday, March 2nd, 2026 Town Council meeting. Our meeting this evening will be broadcast live on the Town of Double Oak YouTube channel. Once on the channel, please click on the live button. Out of respect for all those in attendance, if we could refrain from talking to one another, other members of the audience during the meeting, and silence our electronic devices while in the Cook Wilkinson Community Government Room. I would like to ask our Town Secretary, Lynn Jones, to please call the roll.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wellen.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Dietrich.
Needs to turn off or unmute his mic.
Mark, unmute your mic. Hey, Captain, can you go push that button up there? Do it.
Mr. Gortney.
You do it.
Dr. Kay.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Yeah, we've got the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem that's remoting in. All right.
Go back to the.
Mark, can you hear us? Can you hear us, Mark? Mark,
Does his RV have Wi-Fi?
we just spoke to him.
I know.
Mark?
I think that's it.
1 second.
Laura made a good point on his head earbuds. Yeah. I wonder if they're not.
Can you hear me, Mark?
You just said that.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you,
I
but
can hear you. You can't hear us.
Let me change this a little.
Where is he, on Mars? It's a cool background.
Mark? What's,
Mark, can you hear anything?
Mark?
Yes, you just came through.
Okay.
Mark, we're calling a roll. Can you hear me, Mark?
Hopefully you heard that. Give me a thumbs up if you heard me.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can see Laura and I can also see Chris.
Okay. Then-
Or Chris's chair.
Mark? Okay.
He needs to answer.
Our Town Secretary is calling the roll. Could you please acknowledge? Okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, folks. Mayor Pro Tem Wellen will now lead us in an invocation.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together tonight to do the work of this town. Help us to listen with an open mind and open hearts. Please protect our first responders as they go about their work in this community, keeping us safe and free from harm. Please protect our military as they fight a war on another soil, trying to protect the United States. Keep them safe while they do their jobs. In the Lord's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Councilperson Favero will now lead us in the pledges. Please rise. Thank you. What's that? Okay. Are you sure before I hang up?
Can you say something?
Mark, can you hear us?
All right. Sorry about the technical glitch, folks. All right, moving on with town business this evening. First up on the docket is citizen comments, non-agenda subjects. Regarding citizen comments, the town council welcomes and values citizen input. A portion of each meeting is set aside for comments on non-agenda items, which means topics not listed on the meeting agenda. If your comments relate to an agenda item, you'll have the opportunity to speak when that item comes up. When recognized by the presiding officer, please step to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. Each citizen has up to 3 minutes to speak. Council members will listen closely, but they will not respond or enter into discussion during this time. This is a procedural rule designed to allow everyone a fair chance to be heard and to keep the meeting moving forward. Please also know that all meetings, including citizen comments, are recorded as part of the town's official record. We ask that all comments be respectful and orderly. Personal attacks, profanity, disruptive behavior are not allowed. If rules of conduct are violated, the presiding officer may call the speaker to order. I don't believe that's going to happen. These guidelines are in place to ensure that every citizen has opportunity to speak in a fair and respectful environment, and that town council meetings remain productive and professional. Before we begin our citizen comments, I want to briefly remind everyone that while we fully expect each individual's First Amendment rights to speak, town council meetings are held for the purpose of conducting official municipal business, consistent with common practices across Texas municipalities and guidance from the Texas Secretary of State regarding electioneering in government settings. Campaign advocacy or for or against a specific candidates may not take place during this meeting. We welcome your comments on matters affecting our community and appreciate everyone's cooperation in helping us to keep the meeting focused, fair, and orderly. So tonight we have, as we've had the last few council meetings, which has been awesome, we've got a bunch of folks that have come here to speak, a variety of different topics, and as usual, we go straight down the list. So first up this evening is Bernie Carrico.
Is this turned on?
Yep.
Oh, I'm Bernie Carrico. I reside at 510 Cross Timbers Drive. My wife Judy is. Can you all hear me?
If we can silence all the devices, please.
Excuse me, my mountain fever has kind of gotten the better of my eyes and my voice. I want to change the scope of my comments from what I think is going to follow for the rest of the evening tonight. And I'm not going to talk directly about the big item in the town, the 23 acres. I want to talk more about how we're going to get to a solution that satisfies everybody. And in order to do that, I'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking about leadership and communication. Some things that I've observed most recently, but also for the last 52 years in this town. You know, everybody has a personality, whether you're a mayor, a governor, a CEO, or a sailor, a skipper, if you will, of a boat. You know, and you're either a pessimist or an optimist. You know, the pessimist looks at the wind and what's blowing and says, basically blames the wind for the affairs that are going on. The optimist says a prayer for the wind. A leader basically adjusts his sails, or her sails, as the case might be. You know, and when I woke up on Saturday morning this past weekend, I read the Friday update, and I read the mayor's letter, the 1,034-word memorandum and stuff too. And I must tell you, I read it 3 times before I had another cup of coffee. Mr. Mayor, you have set the tone for what needs to be discussed for the ensuing 90 days to come up with a resolution that doesn't rip this town apart. So I said, I've been here for 52 years, almost 53 years. We bought our land, or we signed for our land before the town was incorporated. There's been somewhere between 400 and 600 governance type of meetings at this town hall and the other 9 places that we've met over the 52 years. There's been 4 consequential governance matters that came in front of this illustrious body, and all the committees that support you. The first one was approximately 1985, 1988. We got out of just supporting this town with franchise taxes and fees. We initiated ad valorem taxes. The discussion we had about that, of course we only had probably 50 to 75 homes, was very cordial, and we adopted it. And of course, you all know what's happened since then. I've forgotten what our rates were and stuff like that. The second one wasn't so good of an outcome. It was approximately the turn of the century. It probably started about 98 or 99. And the city council basically rezoned, the city council approved the rezoning from the P&Z's recommendation of these, I think it's 48 acres up in 407 where the church now is. It was the primary tract of land we had in this town, and it got rezoned and no longer pays any property taxes on stuff too. In retrospect, I think it was a horrible mistake, short-sightedness, and my recollection of the kind of am I up already?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I'll write you a letter.
Okay, yeah, I can accept that, the letter.
Okay.
Thank you. Mary Holland.
How much time do I get?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. I'll try to be succinct. I live at 341 Oakview Drive, and I've lived here over 30 years, maybe 35. We bought our home here because it was a residential community with large yards. We had kids at the time, and our grandkids like to come visit us now in our big yard. What we don't want in our community is something that's not compatible with our residential 1-acre lot community, and that's a large grocery store and a gas station. One of those would be horrible. 2 is a disaster waiting to happen. It's going to increase the traffic on Simmons to be dangerous, and Timberleaf right now is a cut-through. People don't like having to sit at those 2 lights, so they cut through Timberleaf when I'm walking my dog in the evening. We're lucky we're not killed, and I haven't seen the cops there very often anymore. They used to be there a lot, and I haven't seen them in a long time. So they've kind of accepted that people are going to do that, I guess. And I watch how many people run that stop sign too. But anyway, I'm worried about commercial creep from that thing turning, you're putting a grocery store there, then the next door neighbor with the horse farm will think that's not compatible with his thing, and that'll turn commercial, and then the family compound will turn into a bigger shopping center. Everybody will get rich, and our town will go down the drain. I think the best use of that is 1-acre lots, residential, just like Vickery lots are, that's homes on 407. Williams Ranch, that's homes on 407. There's a big community in Copper Canyon that's right on 407. There's no reason that has to be commercial, and I would like you to be proactive, Mayor, like you said in your letter, and be proactive to guide our town to have residential lots on that land, not shepherd, reactively shepherd in a horrible thing that will hurt our community forever. We won't be able to get back the quiet town once you destroy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Holland.
Hi, I'm Mike Holland. I live at 341 Oakview Drive also. Mary covered a lot of the ground already, so I'll launch into my remarks. The mayor, I also read the Friday update, and the mayor made a strong case for reasons that we might want to consider having this development in our town. Behind my house, we've lived here 30 years, behind my house there was a home that fell into disrepair, and it ultimately turned into a haven for coyotes to live in, which the town police had to euthanize at one point. We complained about this downtrodden piece of property to the town for about 10 years. Over that 10-year period, I was told by the mayor at the time that we've done what we can do. We've cited these people, we've done all this stuff, we sent it off to the courts in Denton County, and it rests with them now. So the town ultimately was powerless to enforce the cleanup of that piece of property. It was ultimately burned down by the fire department as part of an exercise, was razed to the ground, and a new nice house was built in its place. So though the town may have some benefit from this and from monetarily, the history of the town to enforce conditions on pieces of property is poor, and that needs to be considered in any decision that's made going forward. One thing I've not heard talked about is, will alcohol be sold in this grocery store? Or will any of those other buildings allow alcohol sales? That's something that needs to be considered carefully by the town, and if it's not, I couldn't find it in the ordinances, but if it is, that's my bad. But that needs to be carefully examined in any discussion going forward. I'm very concerned about the traffic on Simmons and the opening of the primary entrance to this piece of development off of Simmons. That's going to create large problems for both the homeowners that are directly impacted very near the entrance and to the rest of us who are faced with dealing with that traffic as well. I guess I'll leave it at that. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Pam Feldman?
I live at 350 Oakview Drive.
If you could state your name, please.
Pam Feldman.
Okay.
I live at 350 Oakview
Thank you.
Drive. We've lived there since '82. 407 was just 2 lanes. 407 doesn't have the infrastructure to handle any more traffic than what we're going to have even with 1-acre lots. There's no way that I can see that it can be widened. And if you go ahead and allow this shopping center to be put there, the infrastructure needs to go in before even thinking about it. Because 407 is not in the shape that 1171 is, where there's next to no traffic going down 1171 that's been widened sufficiently to allow for more construction going down 1171. Let alone what was said by the Hollands about changing the neighborhood. People didn't move out here for that much of a change. And we have grocery stores abundantly. When we moved here, there was Tom Thumb on Main Street and Safeway on Main Street across from the big Walmart. And now we have everything. And $24.99, you could be a geriatric and live out here and not have to go to any other place for medical care. So we've got all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things that have happened since '82. But this would be a detriment. And anybody who wants to leave their house after 4 o'clock in the afternoon to go run errands and try to get through all of the stoplights and all the traffic that backs way up to the east at Cedar Crest and 407, you are stuck. You're just stuck for forever. So that's all I'm saying is we don't need this neighborhood changed that drastically any more than it already has been. We have got everything here now, everything. And we sure don't need another grocery store. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Madeira?
I came here just to say no for the shopping center.
Okay, if you could state your name and your address.
My name is Kathy Madera, and I live at 211 Simmons Road.
Okay.
It's just for me, I just have my family here, and I want to have, I want to live here for a long time. And I want to have my kids coming over with their kids and have dinner, but that's our plan. And now with this, shopping center, it's going to be a lot of traffic. We're thinking maybe we should not be living here. The seller and the developer will have their money and they'll be gone, but we'll be here. So think about when you make a decision, because we're all going to be, suffering because of all this traffic and water drainage. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
I don't know how to put this back.
Chris Walker.
Chris Walker, 211 Simmons Road. So I'll just add my voice to, I think, the chorus that this is not a project for Double Oak. I think you sent out an email, somebody mentioned that you correctly identified, or at least identified the issue, which I welcome, because I think that was what was missing, like what was motivating this. And if it's tax revenue, I get it. I just don't think you have the right solution for this community. It's not a big shopping mall project. It is maybe something more that's scaled to this community. And if that means residential homes, I think that's acceptable to everybody. I think the only people that I've seen that support this project are the developer,
Excuse me.
the seller, and maybe some people on this council, but no one else. I mean, you can see week after week, and it's building. People have got T-shirts, there's signs all over this town. And I'm really hoping that you guys listen, because this is our town, not your town. We put you here to protect our interests.
Folks, please.
And this is what we want from you as our elected leaders, is to listen to the voice of the people and act accordingly. And I have not heard a single pro-shopping mall or center opinion outside of the developer. I was at the meetings and he addresses the concerns about drainage, but I don't think it's satisfactory. I talked to Bob Brawley today on the phone, and he has a great deal of concern about the waters being directed to his property. He can't be here, he's in Florida. But I think he will be making his opinion known as well, which is this is going to heavily impact his property, his horses, and all of us. And I think it's been mentioned over and over, there's really no solution for traffic. There's no alternative route. People will come down Simmons. They're already coming down. Water seeks the cracks. People like shortcuts. It's human nature, and I really don't believe any traffic study that you guys or the developer has put together has taken into account the reality that there will be significant additional traffic down Simmons Road and through Double Oak, and I don't believe anybody here wants that. Thank you.
Thank you. Dick Orridge.
Dick Ulrich, 420 Simmons Road, been here 38 years. Former councilman, used to call us alderman. I think I mentioned that one time when I was here. I want to compliment the mayor on his article that I read on the town webpage. I thought it was very well written, visionary statement, However, as you know, I disagree with your conclusion, and it's the implementation of the philosophy that's the problem. We don't need another 23-acre shopping center with 9,400 cars per day here in Double Oak. I do have a couple more things I'd like to say. Number one, I think the town administrator said that he had received the application from the developer. I think that application be rejected because it's incomplete. We just still do not know the names of the people who are going to occupy the supermarket. And I don't see how you can process an application unless you know all the details. And I know, Mayor, you're going to be presenting on Wednesday all the details about how it's going to be a boon to our tax base. How can you do that without knowing who the retailer is who's coming in? Maybe you know, and you're not telling us. The developer says that he can't disclose it because he has an NDA with both of the people who are interested in. Anybody here knows who's dealt with NDAs is that they can be changeable. And this far along in the process, those NDAs ought to be thrown out the window and the residents ought to know who's going to be going in there. The revenues that are going to be yield, we know it's not going to be Costco because they're going to put a place 2 miles down the road. But is it going to be a Walmart, a neighborhood Walmart, or is it going to be a Dollar General, which is going to generate a lot less revenue? I know it's only speculation at this particular point in time, but we need to know if you're really serious about filling the town in on the details. Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda Martinez.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Martinez, and I live at 322 East Cruth Lane here in Double Oak. I've been a resident of this town for more than 23 years. I'm speaking tonight not just as a nearby property owner, but as someone who has invested decades in this community and cares deeply about the long-term character and direction of our town. This proposal involves rezoning 23 acres at 407 in Simmons for a commercial development that includes a roughly 48,000 square foot grocery store, additional retail space, restaurants, and a fuel center. First, Mr. Mayor, I want to address your recent statement posted on the town's official website. I respect your right to communicate with residents. However, when a rezoning of this magnitude is pending and formal public hearings have not yet occurred, using the town's official platform to frame the philosophical case for development creates the appearance that the direction of this decision has already been shaped. In matters of land use that directly affect this town, a community which is defined by acreage homes, open space between properties, and limited commercial activity, neutrality in official communications is essential to public trust. Secondly, the traffic study referenced publicly estimates approximately 9,000 to 9,400 vehicle trips per day associated with this project. This is a significant increase in traffic along 407 and Simmons Road, a corridor used by residents throughout Double Oak. The concept plan shows multiple access points along that portion of 407 and one on Simmons. Anyone who regularly drives that stretch understands the elevation changes and limited visibility. Introducing several commercial access points there materially increases traffic volume and conflict points. Additionally, neighborhoods in this area already experience serious water retention issues during heavy rain. Some properties become temporary lakes after the storms. The land proposed for this development sits at a higher elevation than nearby homes. When open ground is replaced with buildings, parking lots, and pavement, the water has to go somewhere. The plan includes retention ponds, which are standard practice, but those manage surface runoff and do not change the fact that drainage challenges already affect nearby properties and major rain events. Adding 23 acres of development at higher elevation raises legitimate concerns about whether those problems become worse. Finally, this is not a small infill project. It is a 23-acre commercial center directly adjacent to established large lot residential neighborhoods. Once rezoned and built, the intensity allowed on that land becomes the long-term entitlement of the property. This is a long-term use decision that will define this corridor and the direction of this town for decades. I respectfully urge the council to consider whether this proposal aligns with the character and expectations that have long defined the community of Double Oak. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Ever?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Ever Martinez, and I live at 322 East Caruth Lane. I've been here for over 20 years and saddened at this moment now. Just a couple of talking points here. I want you to understand that this is completely coming from the history of Double Oak. Double Oak was designed to protect rural residential living. The proposal fundamentally changes the character of our town if this goes and this happens. It's not that we are anti-growth, but we are pro-smart growth that can align with Double Oak's identity and vision and future for the families that are here. Thank you.
Thank you. Rama?
Rama Srimashnam, 320 East Caruth. I think Amanda and Ever kind of echo a lot of our opinions over there in Caruth Estates. I don't know, I think our neighbors on Simmons, all of us in Caruth Estates have been asked to give up quite a lot for this for this development. And I don't know that we're necessarily, I don't see what we're getting in equity in return. That's my biggest problem with this. I don't know that I have much else to say.
Thank you. Brian Burns?
Brian Burns, 125 Willow Oak Court, Double Oak, Texas. I haven't gotten my red shirt yet. I feel left out, but I am, of course, against the shopping center, primarily for one reason. Once again, you are providing zero transparency, communication, or answering citizen questions about a project that's going on in our town, a la 250 Simmons Road. So clearly, you didn't learn your lesson about how to piss off citizens by ignoring them and not.
Excuse me, sir, we're not going to use obscenities.
I'm speaking. I have not, excuse me, I'm speaking, sir. This is my minute.
All right,
3
keep it
minutes.
clean, that's all I'm
So
asking.
after pretty much ticking off the town by ignoring us, being pretty much irresponsible, you decided to do it once again. So here we are again. But I want everyone to know that as we've learned, we can bypass the people behind the dais, go directly to the developer. The developer has been more transparent and honest with us than these people have. There's an upcoming citizens meeting on March 18th from 6 to 7.
Sir, if you can address the council, you're here to address the council.
Not that you're worthy of it, but I will look at you. So because these people right here are failing to do their job, we are going to the developer and getting information we want and providing input. Because once again, you have misled us by telling us there'd be multiple citizen meetings. There's been one. And now you're moving on to P&Z. Idiot. Yeah, you're a jackass and an embarrassment. Thank you.
Patrick, sir, we're done. We're done.
Yep, we are.
Val Herrera.
Yeah, I'm Val Herrera, and I live at 201 Oakview Drive. I'm opposed, I don't have the correct red shirt on, but I'm opposed to the shopping center going into Double Oak. Double Oak currently is a high, sought-after, quiet, safe, small residential town with a rural lifestyle, and I hope it stays that way. Very incompatible with what's being planned. And my family moved here 47 years ago, and I've enjoyed every minute that I've been here. I suspect, like most of you, long-term, and I define that as like greater than 10 years, residents have moved here to get away from urban locations with their in my backyard neighborhood shopping center infrastructure. My rural Double Oak home is on the corner of Oakview Drive and Rancho Vista Drive, and is 1 block east of Simmons Road. From my home, when I look out my back window, I can see the residential, commercial, and other vehicle traffic going up and down Simmons. plus the pedestrian and bicycle and other vehicular traffic. Last week, I was pleased to see 2 speeding vehicles going down Simmons with seconds later lights flashing on our patrol cars, so that was great. So what will be the Simmons Road and other Oakview feeder road increased traffic situations that are going to be impacted if the Flower Mound 407 shopping center is built? If you Google, and I don't know why I do this, but it's interesting. If you Google the impact of, if you do it on AI, the AI wizard suggests that small town commercial development can be significantly negatively impacted by residential traffic or impact on residential traffic. But there are ways of mitigating that. I'm sure all of those will start to surface here pretty soon. Through proactive planning, which I'm thinking is well underway, including mandatory detailed, not just one-day survey of the traffic on the street, but mandatory detailed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Johnson.
Mary Johnson, 160 Forest Park Drive. Wanted to say that I'm an advocate for allowing the process to work, which means to respect the framework that protects us all, and I am in favor of the shopping center. I know a majority of us do recognize that it isn't reasonable for us to expect a private property owner to preserve land as farmland forever. Property owners have fundamental rights to sell and pursue their own personal goals as circumstances change. At the last town council meeting, many people left before they heard the insights that the town has engaged a qualified engineering firm with expertise in planning commercial development to help protect our interests and ensure we fully understand the options before us. A majority of us also understand that the town engineer and developer have been working for many months to forward toward a property that reflects the character of our town, supports small businesses, and creates a forward-looking revenue stream that helps us meet the changing needs of our citizens without shifting additional burden to homeowners. A lot of pre-work has been done, and until the last 3 weeks ago, there was no confirmed project. At this time, our town follows a deliberate ordinance-driven process to ensure that decisions are thoughtful, transparent, and focused on the long-term best interest of Double Oak. I believe that communities are built on informed considerations, not just quick reactions. Thank you.
Thank you. Marvin Feldman.
My name is Marvin Feldman, and I live at 350 Oakview Drive. I would like to go on record as saying that I'm against constructing a shopping center in Double Oak. I've lived in Double Oak since 1982, going on 44 years now. Prior to moving to Double Oak, I, along with my wife and daughter, we lived in Dallas. One of the numerous reasons we left Dallas was to seek the country life in our beloved Double Oak. We wanted to get away from the mounting Dallas traffic jams and the lost time that we faced going to work and driving home from work, as we lived right near the LBJ and Valley View Shopping Center corridor. Now, once again, so-called progress has caught up to me and my family. As our town council, please see and study the feasibility that you receive from the developer of moving that much traffic down 407. The proposed shopping center, Lantana, along with the new subdivisions currently being developed in Copper Canyon, I feel is too much for our current 4-7 to handle. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan McCormick?
Good evening, Dan McCormick, 190 Cedar Crest Lane. I also read Mayor Johnson's note in the update the other day. I thought it was well written. And I would have to say that the shopping center at this point is an absolute necessity for the town, but for different reasons from what the mayor suggests. The town is going to have that additional revenue with the way we're spending money. Later tonight, we're going to have a discussion, the council's going to have a discussion about constructing a carport here at Town Hall, $27,000, I believe. Okay, nowhere else in Double Oak is a carport allowed, but it's going to be discussed and potentially voted on, so that's $27,000. Last council meeting, the council voted to approve $33,000 for 2 truck-mounted flashlights for the fire department. Okay? I'm not arguing that it wasn't, that those aren't nice things to have. They are. It's a matter of priorities. Back in 2024, the town spent $85,000 on a drainage study. What has come from that? As far as I know, absolutely nothing. We have a drainage committee. I have not seen or heard a word about any actions taken to improve the drainage. We already had one person tonight talk about drainage and flooding. We are about to get into the rainy season in North Texas. We are going to have flooding. God bless you if you've got a property that is on high ground. But a lot of people, a lot of our neighbors are in low areas or in areas where the water backs up, and people are getting water in their homes. What monies have been expended for them? Yes, a carport to cover the property of the vehicles owned by the city, great. Spotlights for the volunteer fire department, great. But is it a priority? Is it a priority over protecting the homes of the residents of Double Oak? So because of the expenditures that this town sees appropriate, the shopping center, not the shopping center itself, but the revenue it's going to be bringing in is an absolute necessity for the financial well-being of this town. Thank you.
Thank you. Teddy Williams?
Oops. Hi, my name is Teddy Williams. I live at 250 Meadow Knoll Drive. Please excuse me, I'm very emotional right now. I've been trying to listen to what everybody has had to say, and I'm just not feeling like there's a whole lot of real transparency, but I did write something. I was discussing with a neighbor thank you for the opportunity to speak first. I was discussing with a neighbor the other day the aspects that we both like about Double Oak. The small town atmosphere, the quiet and calm, the wildlife, the feeling of safety that we have by knowing the people coming and going in our neighborhood. It is a town that one feels good about moving to and having a family. However, the very people, this council, is supposed to be protecting this way of life. I have heard that someone is using scare tactics again, claiming that we won't have EMS service if the commercial complex doesn't go in. This complex will be a burden to our services. I have been told that this developer has apartments above stores in other areas, and they could do so as well here. Once this commercial complex goes in, we will have no control over what businesses operate in our town. It could be a massage parlor, a vape shop, an adult bookstore. The council will say they will never allow that kind of business in our town, but I have my concerns. As I have said before, this gas station and grocery store will erode our way of life. It may increase our revenue, but it will also increase expenses. Our town insurance will go up, our house insurance will go up. Those neighboring properties could see their insurance double and perhaps become uninsurable. The roads will have to be repaired more often because strangers will be cutting through every part of our town to get to the stores. More people cutting through our town will increase the likelihood of break-ins. Our police will have to patrol the area 24/7. The neighbors who live near the gas station may sue the town for loss of value of their property and destroyed peace and tranquility, since there will be negligence and breach of statutory duty, and a nuisance that goes beyond mere annoyance. I don't know about you, but I can't afford my portion of an $18.5 million settlement and 4 years of litigation over a potential fatal gas tank explosion. So I just hope and pray that you guys will listen to the majority of people here that have spoke tonight and continue to speak, and that you listen to our concerns, and that maybe we can all work together to find something that would work for this town. Thank you.
Thank you. Sterling Caraway.
Good evening. Sterling Caraway, 318 East Caruth Lane. I'm here to speak again tonight about how strongly I believe the proposed development at 407 and Simmons is wrong for Double Oak. The current proposal of a grocery store and gas station very much goes against the rural feel of our small town. As many have said, we do not need another grocery store, and we most definitely don't need a gas station so close in proximity to existing Double Oak homeowners and to our neighbors across the street in Lantana. Mayor Patrick Johnson has made very clear that his priority is sales tax revenue. Do we really need additional revenue? The Double Oak property tax rate is the second lowest out of all of the 41 taxing authorities in Denton County, according to Republic Title 2025 DFW Area Tax Rates Guide. Many Double Oak residents I've spoken with would prefer to pay a higher property tax rather than to coexist with this proposed development. I don't believe any of you live in close proximity to this property. I ask you to please consider this development as if it were proposed behind your home, across the street from your home, down the street from your home. How is it going to impact the quality of the lives of your neighbors and your constituents? I'm very concerned about this development and the impact it would have on the people of our town. I've discussed with many neighbors and Double Oak residents. A majority of I've spoken to believe the property should be developed as 1-acre residential properties in keeping with the rest of Double Oak. This is the legacy we have an opportunity to leave for future Double Oak residents. Do we want it to be a Walmart? Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Scholey. Skull? Sorry.
My name is Bill Scholl, and I live at 290 Timberleaf Drive. And I'm not going to discuss the grocery store or the gas station. We've heard that many, many times. What I'd like to discuss is my property. On the one side, there's an iron fence, and it runs approximately 300 feet, 250 feet of which is right across from the proposed center. That's greatly going to affect our home price, noise, air quality, everything up and along that corridor along Simmons. You know, if this goes through, it's just going to be a matter of time. We're looking at headlights and taillights and can't enjoy our property. Now, we've spoken with the developer the first time at the church above the church, the meeting room they had there, and talked to them briefly about our property, and if a fence goes up, which is going to happen, the fence will go up on the west side of Simmons, and they said they'd look into putting a fence on the east side, taking our, at their expense, taking out the wrought iron fence and putting up a 7 or 8 foot fence to protect us from the pollution, the noise, and everything that goes along with that. I'm against the shopping center. I don't believe we need a grocery store, gas station. It's a dangerous intersection. An increase of 9,500 cars per day. You can imagine what Simmons is going to look like. 407 can't handle it. 00 can't handle it on Simmons. It's going to be a total mess. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Eileen Loscott? Did I pronounce that right? Yes. Okay.
I'm Eileen Loscott. I lived at 230 Double Oaks Drive. My husband and I have lived here since 1996, and we moved, as many other people have mentioned, we moved out here for the community, the ruralness of it, the calm, the peace, the quiet. And I strongly believe that this proposed shopping center will not be a good thing for this town, because it's going to change the fabric of our community in not a good way. I'm looking forward to the workshop on Wednesday so that I could hopefully see what's been discussed. I'm hoping that there's going to be detailed finances discussed on Wednesday so that we can see that everything's been thoroughly looked at, because so far we haven't seen that as a community. We really need to see, is it worth it? Is the tax revenue worth it? I personally don't think it's going to be. But I would like to see that, everyone has weighed out the pros and cons, impartially, and looked at it and not just looked at the dollars that supposedly are going to come. Because money doesn't replace peace, quiet, happiness, safety, and many other things. And this is just a thought to put in your heads. I don't know the town laws. I haven't looked it up. Would the townspeople be able to vote on this development? Is that something that's part of our bylaws or laws of this town? I think that the citizens, as the entire town, we need to be able to vote on this, so that, because we all live here. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Kendra Stevenson? Okay, I thought, it looks like it was crossed off, so. All right, that is the end of our citizen comments, so we're going to move on to item 3, consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered to be routine by the town council, will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Information concerning consent agenda items is available for public review. Council, we have 2 items in the consent agenda. First is the discuss, consider, and act on the minutes of February 17th, 2026 meeting. The second one is discuss, consider, and act on the invoice from Motorola Solutions for the annual Video Manager L-Cloud software and hosting services in the amount of $7,768, which I believe is a budgeted item. So first and foremost, council, are there any changes to the minutes of February 17th?
I have one. Kendra Stevenson was left off of the citizen comments on non-agenda items, so if we can add her to that. That's the only thing I found.
We got that. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other for the, all right. Any questions on the invoice? Like I said, it's IT budgeted item that we had in the budget. All right, are there any, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I move that we approve the consent agenda items.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilperson Gortney and a second by Councilperson Smith. Lynn, can you please call the vote?
Ms. Wellen?
Aye.
Dr. Kay?
Aye.
Mr. Gortney?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
All right, consent agenda passes. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to item 4, mayor, council members, and staff reports. We'll go ahead and start over here with the Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, I was going to say one, but I don't have the date for it now. But upcoming in this town is the Easter egg hunt. It's going to be the week before Easter. So it'll be happening out here in the park. It's the Double Oak Women's Club is sponsoring it, along with the volunteer fire department. So be on the lookout for those signs coming up soon.
Mike. Oh, Mark, sorry.
Yeah, don't have a lot, just have everybody remind of the Women's Club. They're having their, I believe it's called the Casino Night with a Hawaiian theme. And so get your tickets, $40, support the Women's Club and the town, and have a lot of fun.
Thank you. Mike?
Mayor Johnson's February 27th Friday update should be read by anybody that has an opinion on the development at Simmons and 407. Also, the mayor and town administrator and council talked about the development at the February 17th town council meeting. You can see and hear their comments at the end of the video, which most people had left, just 1 hour and 33-minute mark on the YouTube video. I wasn't at the February 17th town council meeting, but I did watch it on YouTube and would like to address some things that were said that aren't true. It was said that the town council tried to approve the helipad. The town council did not try to approve the helipad, and it was not defeated because it was never a vote. The application was withdrawn, and the town council never got a chance to vote on the helipad. One of the questions asked is, why wasn't the town citizens informed about the property at Simmons and 407 going on from ag to a planned development? The response is, an application has to be submitted and filed before the town administrator can inform citizens. There is a process, and we need to follow the process. Comments were made that there would be a liquor store, rats will increase, crime will increase, more arrests will be made. We have to rip up Simmons and lay down 4 lanes. None of that was said about the liquor store, the rats, the crime, the arrest, and the ripping up of Simmons is true. There is no proof to back up the above statements. Please, can we just tell the truth and have proof of our statements? One thing I heard was that 50-plus people spoke against development in the last 2 council meetings. I went and counted. That's not true either. The mayor and the town administrator and the town council are following the process. Let the process play out. Let your opinion be heard, but know that for me and as a council person, I will not say how I vote until the process plays out, because the application could be pulled just like the helipad was pulled, their application. Everyone has an opinion. Let's be respectful of those that may have a different opinion than yours. There was a person who spoke in favor of the helipad that was verbally accosted because he spoke out in favor of the helipad. There are cartoon characters and characterizations of the mayor and town council. Could we please just be respectful of each other?
Thank you. Dr. Kay.
Nothing to report.
All right. Jerry?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. I just have a couple things. As you're all aware, we had some longtime citizens that worked on our boards and our commissions, Board of Adjustments, pass away over the last 3 or 4 months. Phyllis Meyerson and Candy Lamel, who both put in a lot of hours up here at the town hall on those committees and boards. We have placed stones out in our memorial garden, which is right out by the flagpole. So feel free to stop by, and we think it's great that we can honor those folks for all the hard work that they did. So I just wanted to let everybody know that we have placed the stones for Phyllis and for Candy, and I know they were both active in the Double Oak Women's Club, so I'll leave that to the Women's Club in terms of if they want to do something with that as well. With that, we're going to move on to Public Works Code Enforcement.
Yes, just a quick update on the 407 Simmons application. It is currently being reviewed by our planning staff for review of the development standards, and so that review is moving forward. And as many have mentioned, there are 2 workshops coming up, one this Wednesday one next Wednesday. Again, the time is at 6 o'clock. I just want to make sure everyone knows it's at 6 and not 7. And they both will be broadcast live on our YouTube channel for you to look at home or to review later. Just to confirm, the first one this Wednesday will be focusing on the financial impacts of that project. The following week will be the developer presenting the project for review. And that'll be a joint council and P&Z workshop. I would also like to share that I'm currently getting some quotes. We have noticed we have some damage on a large culvert on the 400 block of Cross Timbers. It is a major culvert for the town. I have had our engineer take a quick look at it to make sure that it's structurally, it's got to be sound, and I'm in the process of getting some quotes and bids to get that culvert repaired before any more damage occurs. So I'll be bringing that to council in the next few meetings. And that's all I have for Public Works.
All right. Administration?
Nothing to add at this point.
All right. Public Safety?
Myself and Chief Gaines attended the Texas Police Chiefs Association accreditation training last week out in Henderson, Texas, and came away with some good information there. We have scheduled some software training. The PMAM, Human Capital Management Software, is scheduled for this Thursday. They'll be coming in. And we have a preliminary TPCA site visit scheduled for next week. They'll come in, take a look at our physical building, our access, our security of our property evidence room and things like that, and give us some advice. So these are really the last 3 steps before we decide to make our formal application. Once you make the formal application, the clock starts. You have 2 years to implement all 173 policies. So we want to make sure that we're in the best possible shape before we start that clock.
So if you look at those 173 policies, are we okay with some of them already in some form or
Yeah,
fashion?
so TPCA publishes model policies, samples that you can use. Unfortunately, policies are not a one-size-fits-all agencies kind of thing, you know. So what we'll be doing is for each one of those 173 model policies, we'll be comparing it to our current policy. In some cases, we may adopt the model policy. In some cases, we may stay with the policy that we have. In some cases, we may have to tweak our current policy to bring it in line with the TPCA standards. So it ends up being a lot of work. Some of our policies are 50, 60 pages long. And I'm hoping we can trim them down and get them a little more manageable through this process. But at the end of the day, the work has to be done. I have a friend who they are about 18 months into their accreditation journey, and he said they have about 6 or 7 policies left to review. So it's taken them the full 18 months, and they'll probably be pretty close to the entire 2 years before they get finished with it. So.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Chief Eric, welcome back.
Thank you. First, thank you all for the support a couple weeks ago in the vote I wasn't here for. I know Captain Miller came and filled in for me. We had just left on deployment. So thanks for the money for pagers and truck flashlights. I think Captain Miller went over January's numbers. I just thought I'd go through year to date. We've had 38 calls. We're on pace for normal. Every time I think we're going to be have a slow year, which is a good thing, we all of a sudden speed up the next month and we're back to normal. Only 9 this year have been for fire. All the rest have been medical related, and we've had a ton of volunteer hours, etc. Biggest highlights are we had 8 members go on deployment. 4 of us started off in the Panhandle. We had fire there, then we chased the weather south. We ended up down sort of central Texas, and then the second 4 replaced us there, and then now they're all back. So everybody's back safely.
Excellent.
They got back today. We had 1 member who got his black helmet, and we had 1 member who's one of Double Oak's own. Lexi Goodwin was promoted to lieutenant. She lives just right down the street. Started with us, decided she wanted to graduate high school and become a firefighter EMT. She's got both those credentials, and now she's a lieutenant on your fire department, and she's a homegrown. So if you see her around or see one of us, just come by and maybe embarrass her a little bit and say, hey, go show us Lexi. Deployment was good.
She's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, she is. She's really nice. And she was one of the ones that went on deployment. Update on the pagers and lights, it's all been ordered, and I know to get you copies of the invoices, so those will be coming soon. And then I wanted to mention one thing. I had a discussion with my neighbor today, and he was like, well, there's elections going on, and there's all the stuff y'all have been commenting on. And I told him, I said, I don't take a stand. I don't put signs in my yard one way or the other. I don't wear a T-shirt one way or the other. I said, professionally, the fire department will never endorse somebody. It doesn't make sense. If somebody that we didn't endorse was to become mayor, then you've shot yourself in the foot. I said, plus it just doesn't make political sense in that way. And then big picture, when I show up at your door, I want you to see me and helper, not you're the guy that was putting signs up against the guy that I like or the guy that supported the other guy. You just want to see the guy that's there to help, not, I mean, I want you to help, but I don't like you. So I don't ever take a stand. I'm not taking a stand on the shopping center. I mean, I have my personal opinion. My wife knows what it is. Y'all will never know, and y'all will never know who I'm going to vote for either. And I've had candidates ask me, would you put up a sign? And I said no. The reason I kind of bring all that up is I don't have an opinion on that. I have an opinion. I'm not sharing it. The opinion I would like to share is I see the best and the worst of Double Oak. The best of it is how y'all treat each other when there's an emergency next door and down the street. How many people will come out at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, do they need help? I don't know them well, but I can help do something. I can grab a tarp, got some spare wood, I can fix up their door. I know their mom lives there, does she need help, or whatever. Remind yourselves who those people are and how y'all behave when I am down the street taking care of things, and be a little bit more of that person than what I see here tonight and what I see online. And I realize I'm outside of like the fire chief stance here. It's just what the fire chief would like to continue to see from everybody around him, because I do see the best of y'all all the time. Just spread it out a little bit more. With that, a little bit of opinion. Any questions for me while I'm here, and then I'll get to training. Anything from y'all?
Thank you.
When you were on deployment, what did you do?
Okay, so it's a long story. I was trying not to go there.
Well, make it short.
Yeah, I will try. My crew, we had one wildfire for like 2 days. This deployment was a little different. You're to support your state and what they do. From the fire 2 years ago where like 1 million acres burned, it was the biggest fire in Texas history. They did an after-action review and discovered there's some things that they could have done better. So now this year they've started putting those into place, and we were one of those specialty strike teams. So our job was a little different. We were not the first teams to go fight the fire. We were there to protect homes that the fire might get to, and then protect the teams trying to escape from the fire, and then also protect all the medical crews who were sitting like in a safe zone. So really we did a lot of sitting around because they didn't want to deploy us and get us stuck somewhere fighting fire, and then the job we were there to do, which was protect everything else, and also fill in on 911. So that's kind of what we did. Basically, if the towns get overrun, like a small town gets overrun, their own fire departments are answering 911 calls for medical emergencies or a house that's burning. Well, then when they get overrun, who fills in for them? Well, that was us. So we would have filled in for them if they needed it, and then we also would have been protecting homes. So like one night, we were basically back down a dead-end street, kind of in the country, our fire engine and then a brush truck behind us, and the fire was coming this way, and so my job was to lay out, what are we going to do to protect these homes, and then at what point do we realize we're going to be overrun and we need to leave and we need to get back to the safe zone and then protect all the medical crews that are there. So we did that one night till late at night. I actually went to sleep on the hose bed on top of the truck until the radio woke me up and said, y'all can go ahead and leave. It was actually kind of fun. And then the next day we stood watch like on a hillside, again, watching the fire. Which homes is it moving toward? Do we need to relocate? Et cetera, et cetera. And then the next crew picked up where we left off, and then the fire risk went down, and instead of being there 3 weeks, they sent everybody home today. So it was a good lesson learned for everybody, because there was still stuff you had to apply a little differently than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of those, there's stuff that we bring home, because part of my job was figure out how to protect these houses. So if like a wildfire comes to Double Oak, like what was my mental checklist of things to look for? What are the risks? How would we protect it? How do we get people to evacuate? What do you tell people that tell you they won't evacuate? Because some people won't. And so anyway, good learning experience.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're back safe,
Yep.
and we appreciate everything y'all do. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions? Appreciate the question, Mr. Courtney. It's a good one. Okay, we all know, if you need anything later, I'll come back over.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
Roads Committee.
We are going to have a meeting at the end of March, and we're going to get everyone together to pick a new chairman and look at all the roads. So if anyone has any opinions on some roads that need to be redone, please let us know. Please email one of us. But I was actually wondering, did Marshall get out to that one I told you about last time? I know was it able to get filled? In La Vista, I think, yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, there you go. One road fixed already.
And
We're
we
working
have-
on it.
Are we going to be able to get Kings down here done soon?
Yes, talked to the vendor a couple days ago, because I actually had him out looking at the culvert. He said it was on his schedule to get it done next week, but of course, I'm
Gonna
looking
rain.
at the weather
Yeah, I know.
conditions, and it's not cooperating with us, but I told him it needs to be a priority, and he's got to get
Okay.
it fixed, and he will get it in as soon as he can.
Okay, thank you. Drainage Committee.
Drainage is looking to meet with the engineer and make some decisions related to areas that we think as a drainage committee need to be addressed. Not counting, I mean, the one that Chris mentioned tonight, it's not one that it was on our list,
Right.
but it requires a little bit faster response from the engineering
Yes.
department than from the drainage committee, so.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance Committee.
Ordinance Committee is meeting tomorrow. We are going to be going over what we have on our list and start dividing it up so that we can start looking at it. And then we are also going to set a schedule of meetings. So we'll have at least one per month, and we'll have it set schedule, and we'll put it onto the town calendar so that people can know when we're meeting.
Thank you. All right. Anything else, council, in the areas of the reports? All right. We're going to move on to new business agenda, item 5. 14, discuss, consider, and act on a contract for the construction of a parking canopy to provide parking, covered parking for our police vehicles. This presentation, I'm assuming, besides Chris, I'm sure the chief will be a part of it as well. This is a project that has been ongoing for how many years now? So 20 years. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and then we'll have discussion.
As you can tell in the staff report, this is something that, I've been trying to get bids on, I think, ever since I started, but one of the challenges of getting bids for a project of this size is it's kind of one of these tweener type of projects. A lot of people don't want to bid on these smaller projects, and if they do bid, they give you a bid that is just ridiculously high. So we've been struggling getting some quality bids that I felt comfortable bringing to council, because I don't want to bring a bid to council that I just feel is just way overpriced. Fortunately, we were able to get a few bids and a few options for council to consider. The low one is the lowest bid is a metal-based canopy to protect our vehicles, covering the 9 stalls on the one side of the parking lot, and the tune of about a little over $25,000. The contractor is the same contractor who built the canopy for the town of Bartonville. He has been doing this type of work for over 40 years in his family, so it's someone who knows what he's doing. He's done a lot of similar type things, not exactly this, but he has a lot of experience dealing with steel structures and putting up barns and coverings and those types of things. I am recommending going with the T.J. Robinson contract for $25,000. The other 2 bids that we received were more of what I call the fabric type of coverings that you see like in the car lots and things of that sort. Again, looking at the price, those were a lot more expensive, $70,000, $80,000 to do the same covering. And from my perspective, that's just a fabric covering where the steel metal is going to be much more sturdy and provide a better protection for our vehicles. I did ask the contractor how soon he would be able to start if he was awarded this contract, and he said if approved, he would start ordering the materials and begin construction as soon as the materials are that he can obtain. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions on it, and look forward to getting this done to provide protection for our investment of our police vehicles.
Does this lower our insurance in any form or fashion, or is it something that will be?
No, it wouldn't impact it would lower it only in a sense that it would potentially, we would have less claims, because if we do get a large hailstorm and we have to have a bunch of large claims against our vehicles, we wouldn't have those future claims, but we wouldn't get a discount in our insurance as a result.
Well, have we ever had an incident where we had a lot of hail damage on a police vehicle yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not yet.
So in the past, we've been able to park, or if you remember, we were able to park them underneath the pavilion over there. We can no longer do that because of the septic system, and they're not allowed to run over it, and everything won't fit in there anymore either. So that became a concern of mine once that happened, because we have had a storm through here that actually hit my house. It hit some cars, hit my neighbor's cars also, because it happened suddenly to us. Nobody expected it to happen. It hit their cars, totaled both of them. It totaled my daughter's car, took out windshield, the sunroof, the windows, everything was damaged on that car, and it happened suddenly. That's what we're worried about happening here, because it did come through Double Oak, that particular one. I don't know if y'all remembered, it was before COVID, actually, that one came through and hit us. It hit just part of the town. And so ever since then, since we don't have a place to cover them anymore, the officers have to try and ferry them different places, is what I've been told. Is that correct?
So historically, or recently, the church has allowed us to use their drive-through to park them down there. The problem with that is that requires 2 officers to shuffle the vehicles back and forth. There are large stretches of time from early in the morning until late in the afternoon when we only have 1 officer on duty. He can't shuffle vehicles back and forth. So the potential, if a big storm comes through, is for all of our vehicles to be damaged.
Right.
So it's, part of it is the insurance, and part of it is the dollars and cents, but part of it is operational as well. If all 3 of our vehicles are significantly damaged and knocked out of service at the same time, we lose the ability to patrol. We lose the ability to respond to calls for service. It's a big deal. And if you've ever been through one of these hailstorms, we had 2 of my personally owned vehicles were damaged a couple of years ago, and the very next day we called body shops and glass companies and were told, call us back in 2 months, we're booked. And that was consistent across the Metroplex. We couldn't find anybody that would even take a look at our vehicles, and we drove them with dents and broken windshields until they could be fixed. So my concern is a large storm comes through, and I don't know what the probability of that is, but we live in Texas and hailstorms happen. And all 3 of our vehicles, all 3 of our patrol vehicles are damaged significantly that we can't use them. I don't know where I go from there. Maybe I borrow vehicles from another agency or something, but it's not a really solid solution. So that's my viewpoint.
And the last vehicle we purchased, I remember us purchasing it, and it took about 3 months to get it outfitted. Is that correct? Light bars, everything on it?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a fast process if they are.
Correct. And keep in mind that if we have damage, a lot of surrounding agencies will have
Right.
damage. So not only the body shops, not only the glass shops, but the outfitter is also going to be backed up. And, at the end of the day, we're a 3-vehicle agency. We're not a high priority for them. If they've got a 40-vehicle agency that's screaming for their vehicles to get fixed, they're going to get through first.
Yeah, so that's why I was concerned. I see this not only as we need to protect our assets, which are the cars, but I also see it as a public safety if we lose all of those assets.
Right.
Then we have a public safety crisis of no more people patrolling, or it taking some time potentially to get a patrol
Correct.
going.
I also would like to address the ordinance that homeowners can't have carports, because I think that, as you're saying, with all those cars that were damaged, the homeowners are going through the same thing.
So, well, these homeowners actually did have spaces in their garage. It just happened during a time. But yes,
But
let's
I-
ask Chris about that, because I have asked Chris about that.
Yeah, what can we do? Because, citizens want to protect their cars too.
We have already contacted our town attorney about this, so go ahead, Chair.
Yeah, the current zoning requirements for residential zoning currently do not allow carports. The town hall is not zoned as a residential, it's zoned as a civic zoning, which is like a governmental zoning. So that the town hall property is not under the same zoning requirements as the residential. I don't know if that's something that the ordinance committee wants to take a look at for the future, but from an ordinance perspective and complying with our existing ordinances, we would still comply because town hall is zoned as a civic, which doesn't have those requirements.
Yeah, I guess that was my question, was can we put it on your agenda?
So that is something, so we have a front-facing garages that have been suggested to us. We have that actually got an email on it. So we have that now. Anything that you have that you think we need to look at, if you're a citizen, please send that to us in the ordinance committee. We will look at it. So we're doing that now. So that's another item on our list of look into. Anytime we do an ordinance or change an ordinance, you will see it beforehand. It's going to come up an agenda item. Citizens will be able to comment on it. So if you say you want carports, you can come tell us you want carports. If you don't want them, you can come tell us you don't want them. Same thing for any of these. So it's up to citizens. We are looking through all these, but things like that we probably wouldn't have changed, except that people are asking for them.
Yeah.
That answer your question?
Yes, I just think it should be across the board, right? Everyone should be protected. Because, yeah, when I have like family over and all of a sudden there's a hailstorm, well, my 2 cars are in the garage, so your car's
Yeah,
going to get damaged.
This property carries
Yeah.
a different designation, and that's the way governments are set up.
No, that's great.
It'd be the same thing if this was a school property, because schools would be exempt from that as well.
And that was my daughter's car. Her car was the only one that did not have a garage space.
Didn't get priority.
Any other questions?
Do the police vehicles remain here every night?
So with the swing shift now, we have 2 vehicles in operation from 3 in the afternoon till 3 a.m. So there'll be 1 vehicle parked here. We have 3 fully outfitted patrol vehicles. We also have a Charger, which is used by the sergeant detective, and we have a Ford Explorer, which gets used very little just because it's very high mileage and not a real reliable vehicle. So the ones that we really need to protect are those 3 Tahoes, which, by the way, fully outfitted are $80,000 to $90,000 a piece.
Probably closer to 100 at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, so they're a very big investment for the city, $300,000 worth of patrol vehicles once they're fully outfitted. So to answer your question, there can either be 1, 2, or 3 vehicles in use at any given time. But the majority of the time, there would be at least 1 and sometimes 2 vehicles that would be parked under the cover. It also gives some place for an officer to go if he's out patrolling and the weather comes up. You know, sometimes we get advanced warning of these hailstorms, and sometimes the meteorologists just get it wrong. And I can tell you from experience, I lived through a tornado in 2015. There was 0 advance warning. There was no weather alert. There was no reason to indicate that anything was going to happen, and it destroyed about a quarter of the town that I worked for at the time.
So you guys just want to do it just on that side of the parking lot? Yeah,
That
just
is
on one
what's
side.
being recommended, yes.
The east
Okay.
side.
The rest would stay open. Okay.
And then a quick question on the general contingency fund where this money would be pulled. So I know this is the fiscal year September to September, and we did the fire department lights and pagers from that fund. Is there any other major project that's been discussed that would be done this year that we know about, or that's?
The only other one that I know about that I've shared with council so far is I am currently getting some quotes and bid for a company to come and review all of our ordinances, our building, subdivision, and zoning ordinances. And so depending upon how those bids come in and those reviews, that would be probably the last one for the year. And
So that would be paying for a service for
Yeah.
them to review that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then the other fund balances are roads and drainage and
Yes.
all the projects we're doing for that. Mark, did you have any questions?
No, but a lot of insight. I did have the same question as Ms. Wellen on the ordinances, and thank you for that clarification.
Okay. So, council, if we were to move forward with this with a motion, there would be 2 items here. The first item would be to approve the proposal for the contract that Chris town administrator had recommended. The second would be to approve the budget transfer, just like we've done now, moving the funds in the proper manner that you're supposed to do, where we hadn't done that for many years. So I will put it out there to the council.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
There were no citizen comments on this?
No.
Okay.
We have a citizen for the next item.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. So the first motion, if there's a motion, it would be for approved proposal from TJ Robinson to construct a parking canopy at the town hall parking lot in the amount of $25,310.
This has been a big issue for me, and I know Chris is tired of hearing of me even when we haven't been in council, and so I move that we approve the proposal from TJ Robinson to construct a parking canopy at Town Hall parking lot in the amount of $25,310.
Is there a second?
I second.
We have a motion by Councilperson Gwartney, excuse me, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Wellen. Lynn, can you please call the vote?
Mr. Gwartney?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Ms. Wellen?
Aye.
Dr. K?
Aye.
All right. Second motion would be for approve the budget transfer of $25,310 from the town's general contingency fund balance account to the capital outlay special revenue fund for the construction of a parking canopy at the town hall.
I move that we approve the budget transfer of $25,310 from the town general contingency fund balance account to the capital outlay special revenue fund for the construction of a parking canopy at town hall.
Is there a second?
Second.
That was,
Jerry.
Jerry.
I'm still getting to know your voice. We had a motion by Councilperson Gwartney and a second by Councilperson Smith. Lynn, can you please call a vote?
Dr. K?
Aye.
Ms. Wellen?
Aye.
Mr. Dietrich?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Gwartney?
Aye.
All right, the item passes, and let's see if we can get them to move quickly before the thunderstorm season, please. All right, moving on to next item. This is discussion only, discussion on town participation in the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement 287G Task Force Model Program. We have a citizen this evening that would like to speak. Dick Ulrich, please come up. And Mr. Ulrich, this is an agenda item, so there can be conversation back and forth.
Oh, great. Always welcome back and forth. So I want to tell you that when I read this, I absolutely couldn't believe my eyes. The thought of even our town council considering bringing, I want to get this straight, ill-trained, trigger-happy, masked Gestapo agents patrolling our streets is absolutely unbelievable. How can you possibly consider this in our town? The objective of this is to keep us safe. Where you're creating all of these unsafe conditions, I mean, can you imagine these ICE agents assisted by our police chasing our lawnmowers and roofers at high speeds through our town to escape? That's what we're asking for. On the other hand, I also read the 36 pages, read it a couple times. They're asking us to open up our databases to them so that they can undergo enforcement agents. What in God's name are we asking for here? I'd like to find out before I leave how this got on our agenda and who also on our council approved putting this on our agenda. This is an unbelievable mistake. I welcome your questions.
So I can address one thing. So this discussion is taking place with every county sheriff in the state of Texas. All the municipalities are going through this exercise of a discussion. And so we're doing what we're supposed to do from a discussion standpoint. That's why you see it as discussion and not discussion.
I understand that, right.
So for example, I think Bartonville's tonight, they're having same discussion.
I understand Denton County did it, Denton County Sheriff when it went through it.
Yeah, so I attended a mayor's meeting on Wednesday of last week and spoke to a lot of the mayors, and we're all scratching our head a little bit, but we also know that we should do the proper civic duty thing by at least having a discussion on it. Again, it's not up to the mayor to decide that we should or shouldn't do it, or it's the chief of police. Basically, what it is to bring it to council, to get the input from the council people, to get the input from the citizens such as yourself. So this is happening right now. And
What would the consequences be, Mayor, of just tabling it and not even considering it? I mean, it's almost an insult to the town.
Well, Is
it mandatory that you guys do this?
It's not mandatory, but there's things in government that you kind of do, and that's what we're doing here. As far as there's advantages, there could be some advantages of the program, there could be some disadvantages of the program.
Please give me some advantages.
We're just here discussing it tonight.
I understand. I understand.
We're just, no.
You've heard my position. I just can't
no, I
believe
know.
we're going to discuss.
No,
discuss
but I
this.
wanted to answer your question.
Yeah.
Is it, all of them, I mean, I was with Hickory Creek, I was with Bartonville, I was with Copper Canyon. We're all going, are you guys putting this on your agenda? It's like, well, we kind of, we need to at least say we did it. So in terms of who approves it, if it would get approved somewhere else, I don't know. I mean, there'll be a lot of follow-up from this. And keep in mind, this is something that, I mean, I like your voice in terms of this.
You like the what?
I said I like your voice and what you're sharing with us tonight, and we'll have some discussion here with the council. It can be tabled, it can be dropped, it can be moved forward, so there's no hurry, put it that way, if anything would be done.
Put it on their table for long-term consideration. Thank you.
So, did I answer your question, though, where it came from?
I hear that everybody else is doing it. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean we have to do it.
I understand.
Right.
So, council, what questions do you have?
So I have a few.
Okay.
I know that's shocking.
Okay.
So under the designation of authorized functions, is there anything on there that you can't do right now that's giving you authorization to do?
Yes. So, first of all, let me back up a little bit and
Yeah,
kind
you
of
can-
explain what the
What
287G
this
program
is.
is, because there seems to be some significant misunderstanding
Okay.
there. So I was tasked with researching the 287G program and providing a recommendation. A real quick overview, there are currently 317 Texas agencies that are participating out of about 2,800 statewide, so about 11% of agencies are currently participating. Of those, 262 are county agencies, sheriff's offices, and the reason they're participating is they have no choice. SB 8 mandated that all sheriff's offices that run a jail participate in the 287G program. There are 4 state agencies and about 51 municipal agencies, so not a lot of municipal agencies participating at this point. There are 3 separate models depending on the type of agency: task force model, jail enforcement model, warrant service officer model. This is not a situation where ICE agents would be coming into our city. What this does is it provides immigration enforcement powers to the officers that we currently have. So in the course of their normal duties, enforcing the law, answering calls for service, making traffic stops, if they had cause to believe that somebody was in the country illegally and we can add this by policy, and either was committing a crime or had a history of committing crimes, we would be able to access federal databases from the field to determine the person's immigration status. And if we determined that their immigration status was illegal, we would have the opportunity to hand them over to ICE or to the sheriff's office. We currently take all of our arrests that are Class B above to the Denton County Sheriff's Office. They'll be checking all these people for their immigration status as a matter of course. So all this does, the only difference is instead of checking them at the jail, once they've been arrested, we'd have the opportunity to check them in the field. So officers can perform immigration status checks and initiate detainer paperwork outside of the jail setting. That's the key difference. The partnership aims to identify and process individuals with pending or active criminal charges who are in the country illegally. So it's not a case of we're looking to be ICE agents out arresting people simply because they're in the country illegally. These are people who have active criminal charges or are in the country, and are in the country illegally. The agreement is intended to enhance and not replace local law enforcement duties. Per section 18 of the MOA, the agreement can be terminated at any time by either party. Officers participating in the program would only take enforcement action when a criminal offense occurs or when the suspect has a criminal history. We would not conduct stops, detentions, or arrests solely for immigration violations. Any immigration-related action would occur only in conjunction with a lawful criminal arrest within the scope of the MOA. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. The question was asked, what's the benefit to the city? The task force model can provide $100,000 reimbursement for new vehicles, $7,500 per TFO, per task force officer, per quarter for equipment and training, and salary and benefits are reimbursed for the time spent on ICE enforcement. I get it. This is a flashpoint issue, right? And I came in here tonight, and my recommendation was going to be slow the roll. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what this looks like, right? For an agency our size, $100,000 in vehicle payments, that's huge, okay? That'd be a great thing to have. But I also understand the emotions that come along with something like this, and that's why this is a decision for the council, not a decision for the chief of police. So, questions based on what I've said? Anything?
Just to reiterate, but you've said it, and I just want to put it out there again. This is not ICE agents coming in and grabbing people and chasing them through our town.
This is empowering our current officers. There'll be no federal personnel in Double Oak enforcing immigration law on our behalf.
And this is not you going after lawn care people, or unless you find out they have committed a crime or something along that line.
Make a traffic stop, run somebody, we run everybody that we make a traffic stop on, find out that they have a want or a warrant, and they're in the country illegally. This gives us the opportunity to process not only the warrant, but also the immigration violation. Again, my intent coming in here, my recommendation to the council was going to be, let's sit on this and let it roll out and see how it comes out. I can tell you that there aren't a whole lot of municipal agencies in the Metroplex area that are doing this. The largest one that I know of is Keller. When Keller went to roll it out, they had a lot of pushback, not so much grassroots pushback, but organized pushback, well-funded pushback, including a deluge of open records requests that ground their processes to a halt, because every single day they were getting open records requests on how many have you stopped, how many have you arrested, how many have you detained, so on and so forth. I don't want that, okay? I don't want that for my small agency. So again, my recommendation is that we sit on this and see how it rolls out with other agencies, let somebody else make the mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes and make a decision further down the line.
Mr.
well, the only
Overton, you
point
signed
I-
up, so you signed up, so I was going to go ahead and.
I get to speak some more. You got to turn the 3 minutes on me?
Well, we're supposed to.
Okay. I know everybody wants to leave. I read the agreement. It says ICE agents can come into our town.
Federal agents can come into any town they want to, anytime they want to.
Specifically, this agreement is going to give them the opportunity to do that.
That's incorrect.
I read it, I'll show it to you. And I think it just raises a point. This was a 34-page agreement. Before you even get close to approving this thing, you ought to kick it over to your legal department and have them go through it.
Yes.
Because there are obligations to our taxpayers that prop up because of the actions of these agents.
Correct.
Okay, that's it, I'm done now. Thanks.
Oh, you're good, thank you. I appreciate your input.
I did have one other comment. So that is, I'm glad that you are stating that we should slow roll this and look at it, because one of my other concerns is, during the previous administration, one of the other councils, before I got on council, they were given something where it sounded great, because it sounded like free money to this town, and the council was ready to move on it, and those of us that looked into it said that no, the agreement actually said that they could come in and make our properties HUD properties and take them over.
Right.
That's what we were actually agreeing that they could do. So I want to make sure that there's no something below the surface that we don't know about that
Absolutely.
we're agreeing to.
Absolutely, and those things tend to come up, there's a lot that's not mentioned in that MOA, right? And I had a lot of questions, and I've had multiple phone calls and emails with the Dallas ICE office with regards to those things. And one of my concerns is the answers weren't always as complete as I would have liked to have been. And so, a little bit of history, the program really ramped up under the first Trump administration. When Biden took over, the program was basically shut down. Now we're in the second phase of it kind of ramping back up, and it's kind of evolved. Originally, it required 4 weeks of in-person training at the federal law enforcement training facility, on-site. Now, they've reduced it down, so it's on-site training for the officers online training for the officers to qualify for this program. So they're trying to make it easier